The Manchester City doubters are back in full force, and the mainstream media have Manchester City on the tips of their tongues once again, talking about Manchester City and writing us off. We don't know what we're doing in terms of a rebuild. We're finished. We are a finished football club, according to the mainstream media. This time it's TalkSport. Martin Keon and Simon Jordan. Martin Keon, of course, is a well-known, well-established footballing genius who knows everything there is to know about the game of football. He has been speaking on Manchester City's upcoming season. So let's have a listen to what he has to say.
Just looking at they had 9 defeats last year in the Premier League and 11 in total in the previous 3 seasons. Just to give you an idea of the standards they were setting and what they fell from last year. They give everybody a chance. And I'm not completely enamoured with all the new signings. I don't know whether or not some of these guys, they've been kings of football and kings of Europe, and I don't know if the crown's going to fit some of these new signings. I'm not completely sure.
The doubt is strong with this one. The doubt is strong, and we fuel off that doubt. Manchester City, we love it. It keeps us going. It's what drives us. You know what I mean? We've been doubted from day dot since we got taken over by the likes of Sheikh Mansour. We were doubted. You can't buy your way to titles, not in this league. Well, you can if you spend money wisely. If you want to spend money and throw it down the shitter, just look across the road at Manchester United. That's how to spend money poorly. Even Arsenal as well. 72 million on Nicolas Pepe, mate. Come on. You can spend money badly and you can spend money wisely. Don't pretend that we're the only ones that spend money, though. There are 2 different types of spending. Good spending and shit spending. We were doubted when Pep joined. You can't play your tiki-taka football in this league. No. That's your Spanish way of playing. Don't you think you can bring your philosophy over here to our prestigious Premier League and play your football? Not a chance, mate. We'll wipe the floor with you playing the Pep way. That's what we'll do. We'll break records that were never apparently breakable. They'll be broken by the likes of Pep Guardiola and this Manchester City side. Back-to-back titles? Nah, mate. You can't do that in this league. Not with that style of football. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Champions of Europe? You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. Yes, we will. And we'll win a treble while doing it. But you can't win a title after winning a treble season. Gary Neville said so. And if Gary Neville said so, then it must be true. Because you can't win a title after winning a treble. Can you? I don't believe you can. Maybe you can. Because that's you, Gary. That's your Manchester United. This is us. That was you. This is Manchester City we're talking about. We'll go for 4 in a row because 3 in a row, apparently that wasn't attainable. That was not doable. Yeah, 4 in a row for Manchester City. That's what we do. In fact, the one time you should have doubted us was last season, and everyone was saying, yeah, of course, City are going to win it. Because they'd ran out of doubt. They'd nowhere to go. The end of the doubt, the river of doubt came to an end. It dried up all the doubt. They'd run out. So they were like, oh, what do we do about predictions? City just keep winning it. They just keep winning it and winning it and winning it. So I'm going to predict City. That's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to go with City, even though we'd won it 4 seasons in a row, because you're a genius if you predict City. The one year you probably should have doubted us was that year, because anyone with a modicum of football intelligence would have recognised that you do not win titles year after year after year. You know, not to expect City to go and get 5 was ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. There was an inevitable decline from this football club. Of course there was going to be. You're a moron if you didn't realise Manchester City at some point were going to have a blip. And a big blip as well, considering everyone was just absolutely foaming at the mouth. And look at Manchester City are losing game after game. Oh, God, I can sleep again. City are losing. City are finished. Oh, basking in it. And now the doubt continues, and I'm here for it.
I'm not sure, though, and I can hardly believe I'm saying this. I'm not really sure that Man City will do what they've done in the past. Because they have some wonderful players.
What do you mean?
Well, this group have got a lot to follow, do you know, because of what De Bruyne has achieved and the Vincent Kompany's and all these other guys. Bernardo Silva is been given a lot of power at the club at the moment. I don't know whether they're going to go to that same level again.
See, now that's it. Over to you now, Pep. You've got to rebuild. Something you've never done. You don't know how to rebuild squads, apparently. You know, we only need to go back to 2017, 2018. That was the season we got the title, and we got 100 points, if memory serves me. 100 points. You know, that record. You know, the Centurions. Players like Aguero. Players like Jesus. Players like Sane, Sterling, Yaya, David Silva, Fernandinho, Otamendi, Laporte. That's 9 players I can count right there. So fast forward to a treble-winning season, the avalanche of trophies that continues to pour over this football club. Apparently, those 9 players have been there since the beginning of Pep. There's been no rebuild, you know. But when we won the treble, there was no Aguero, there was no Jesus, there was no Sane, there was no Sterling, there was no Yaya, there was no David Silva. Who else is there? There was no Fernandinho, there was no Otamendi. There was Laporte. One player left from the list of players that I just gave in the treble-winning season. One. Because we went and signed the likes of Haaland, Alvarez, Ruben Diaz, Rodri, you know, Mahrez. Big players. Big game players that no one knew who Alvarez was before we signed him. You know, minimal amount of hype. You know, the signings of these players, no one spoke about Rodri to the degree they speak about him now until he wore a Manchester City shirt. Until. So Pep doesn't know how to rebuild, apparently.
Are City still favourites in the minds of many going into next season?
If you're a Man City fan, maybe. But I don't think so, no. I think the image that's been built up in people's minds was like a psychological approach to playing Man City. A lot of sides were beaten before they got on the field. That's gone now. This is the first time, probably for some time in Pep Guardiola's career, that he's in a regeneration phase.
That's it. It's gone. Fear factor. It's gone. It's gone. Then good. Perfect. This is brilliant. It's exactly what we want. That doubt, that belief that you can just turn up to the Etihad and beat us. Come on then. Come out. Billy Big Bollocks. Bring it on. Come out of your shape. Come out of your low block. Take us on. Go toe-to-toe with this weak and pathetic Manchester City side that are failing and unable to win Premier League titles anymore. Finished. Come out and beat us then. Come out of your little shape. And then we'll pass it around you and run rings around you and go and surprise the fuck out of you and go and win a Premier League title. And by the end of the season, I guarantee you, if you have those balls that you claim you have, the rest of you, you'll be looking at the end of the season with an infinite amount of low blocks. Once again, Manchester City versus low blocks after low block. Then fine, if you're Billy Big Bollocks, then come out and beat us. Because we are rebuilding. There is no talk around the players that we are signing, other than within the Manchester City fan base. The external mainstream media, they are not talking to the degree of verts to Liverpool. All the hype is around Liverpool. Let them have it. Let them have it. Pressure, hype, pressure. Bring it on. You have that. We'll go under the radar, quietly going about our business understated. Cherky, Tijani Reinders, the return of Rodri, Ryan ait-Nouri, maybe the return of Phil Foden back to his best. Edison is reportedly staying, which is a key component to Manchester City's success over the last 9-10 years. The goalkeeper might be staying, which is key. That's huge for this football club. So continue to doubt us. Continue. Bring it on. It fuels us. And then, of course, what is there with a conversation around Manchester City that doesn't end with the 115 charges?
We shouldn't forget that we still await the outcome of the 115 cases against City from the Premier League regarding those financial charges. City deny any wrongdoing. And, of course, Khaldoon Al-Mubarak was asked about that.
Well, I suppose the only thing I can say is that we still don't have a ruling. Once there's a ruling, I'll be able to speak about it. And until then, we just have to be patient, and it'll come, and we'll talk about it. I promise you, once we have the ruling.
Is it just me, or was he smirking quite a bit there? Was there a little bit of an understated read the room? You know what I mean? Read between the lines. Read my face. There was a quiet, understated confidence there from Khaldoon Mubarak. Maybe I'm misjudging him, but there was a feeling, an aura around this man. And when this man speaks, and even his aura speaks to certain degrees that most people can't even vocalize. Do you know what I mean? His aura has more power than most people's vocals, this guy. Do you know what I mean? He's an absolute G, this guy. Love him to bits. And I have a good feeling about this. But then Simon Jordan, of course, he chips in.
Can we honestly go into another season? Can City, can the Premier League, without any announcement on this matter?
Well, it's not affecting Man City, is it? They're still buying players. They've still spent £100 million plus in the January transfer window. They're still telling you they're going to buy players now in this summer to prepare for the World Club Championship. So, you know, his response is, we'll wait and see what happens when it happens, and what the ramifications of it are will be whatever they are. Right now, there's no way Manchester City are going to put their business dealings on hold on the back of an outcome that they think is already determined.
Sure, because they say they've done nothing wrong.
And what's the word? You know, if they get financial penalties, what do they care about that? With respect to them,
okay,
they don't, do they?
Zero respect. You can say the words respect, doesn't mean you're actually giving the club respect. But the financial penalty that he mentions there, for me, again, That's not good. I don't want a financial penalty. As long as the financial penalty is purely for failing to cooperate. If that's it, I can live with that. If there is any sort of association of guilt alongside the financial penalty, if it's a rule that has been broken other than failing to cooperate, because that is the most bullshit rule ever in terms of actually labelling us guilty of anything, then fine. I'll take that on the chin. But any other financial penalty implies guilt. City want to walk away from this. There is no middle ground here. This is a full case of black or white, okay? We want to either be cleared of all charges, maybe failing to cooperate could be thrown in there, that's it. Or have the book thrown at us and everything that has been accused of, we are found guilty of at the same time. I can't see a middle ground in this situation for Manchester City or the Premier League, okay? But the one thing you mentioned there is it's not stopping City in their business. That's what you know of. That's what you know of. The ability to sign Marmoush and Gonzalez in the summer and Husanoff and Rice. These players that are coming in, reportedly to Johnny Reinders, Ryan Cherky, Ryan ait-Nouri, they have been persuaded that we are not going to be found guilty. Who's to say that maybe Florian Wirtz didn't have a conversation? He wasn't convinced. Because don't forget where the accusations came from. They came from Germany in the first place. So he's going to have German publications in his ear and the German media in the ear of his family, his agents, in other words, saying they're the 115 charges guys. They're the guilty ones. They're the cheats. You want to go and join them, do you? And what if we get proven innocent? Is there any ramifications? What about the damages that have been caused? Because we could maybe have signed Wirtz, and maybe part of his decision to not play for Manchester City, possibility, I'm fantasizing about a possibility here that may be a realistic one at the end of it when we find out whether we are guilty or not, that he didn't want to join because there was doubt around the club that we could be guilty. And who's to say sponsorship deals may not want to have been associated with this club? Certain sponsorships are, we don't want to be associated with you because right now you've got a cloud over you. A potential guilty charge is heading your way. And until you're cleared of that, we do not want to invest our sponsorship money into your club. And in which case, Manchester City are missing out on massive chunks of revenue and sporting punishments because we aren't able to sign certain players who believe we're guilty. And if that's the case, we are owed something and then some. Manchester City fans, what do you think? What do you think about next season? Get in the comments below. Are you excited? Let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up silverware.